Chris, thank you so much for the invitation, and also to Catherine and Paul and the team at Meshed for inviting me today. I'd like to start by acknowledging the First Nations people as the custodians of the land at which I'm coming to you today virtually in this meeting, which is in Brisbane, Queensland. And I want to recognise the land north and south of the Brisbane River as land of the Jagera and Turrbal nations and pay respect to their elders past, present and future. I've got a short presentation here, really just a bit of a taster, sharing some work that we've been evolving, which is ongoing for the next couple of years around the future of place. You have got an excellent lineup of both government and private sector leaders going to deep dive today with you around IoT and how it is a core enabler of helping us build better, resilient, safer communities and cities. And really what I wanted to share with you is sort of how we're thinking about potentially what's next, or what we do need to think about what's next when it comes to enabling our cities through tech and data. For those of you that don't know the Smart Cities Council, we've been around almost a decade globally, 5 years in Australia. We're a member-based organisation. You can head to our member-based showcase website to see some of the organisations that are part of our community, and certainly want to acknowledge some of those friends that are on the line today. I can't stress enough, and I start all our presentations by ensuring that we're very well grounded with a North Star when it comes to the work that we do in technology and data and city shaping for better. The UN's Sustainable Development Goals are indeed the North Star for the Smart Cities Council, and I'll be bold and say that it's the superior framework for IoT and smart cities. It draws some sort of curious questions at times, but when you look at the global goals, we're a signatory to it in Australia and also New Zealand. They're global, they unite us, they're time-bound, they're very diverse, and they can be localised. We are still yet to find a better framework for guiding the work that we do, and indeed the work that we think that we all need to be advancing. I want to talk about place as sort of the next major frontier and platform for advancing smart cities and IoT. The outcomes are the same. We've been creating and shaping great places for people for a long time. And indeed, the reason I'm focusing on place in this presentation is that place is a big part of local government, what it stands for, what it is. Public places are our places. It's democracy, it's health, it's well-being, it's community connection. And indeed, the other reason I'm touching on this as a theme today is because COVID has certainly turned things around when it comes to sort of the way we look and think about how place is being used and how we interact with it. We always know that our places need to be for all, they need to be equitable, and that doesn't change, and it hasn't changed. They need to be places that we can engage with at any time of day, in any place. These are certainly aspirations that we all have in local government and indeed state government and private sector. But that idea of place is changing, we believe, at the Smart Cities Council. This relationship, this very interesting relationship, this evolving, fast-paced evolution of a relationship between people, place, technology and data is one that's been happening for some time, but I'd certainly be confident in saying the last 12 to 18 months has certainly seen the relationship go to places, I think, that we haven't been before. The Future of Place project, which I'm sort of referring to now, is this 2-year journey that the Smart Cities Council is going through of trying to understand what that relationship looks like, how it's evolving. We've been doing a lot of discovery, a lot of scoping, a lot of engagement. What we're finding, this is just a mere snapshot of about 40 to 50 issues that relate to place and local government, that when we look behind each of these images and each of these tiles, there is a tightening relationship between people, place, tech and data. And the reason I sort of bring this up in this forum is because behind each of those tiles, in the context of what a smart city is, and we know that a smart city is one that uses tech and data for good, that might be sort of what a smart city is, but its core function, of course, is where it really has a strong intersection with the Internet of Things. IoT is an underpinning element of smart cities because there's three core parts to a smart city, which is to collect, communicate, and crunch data. And it provides very strong context for IoT. But how we're collecting and how we're communicating and how we're crunching data is changing every day. And the innovators out there that are using those core enablers, like networks, like sensors, like analytics, those innovators are stretching our minds on an ongoing basis. And during COVID, we certainly saw our public places and the relationship and how our communities engaged with place, whether it be through their enhanced digital lifestyles, whether it was urban food delivery, e-commerce, double-digit growth in Australia. Our digital lifestyles and the digital backbone that we're using and the role that IoT plays, each and every one of those digital decisions has a physical impact. And that's fascinating to us. While we sit on our lounge and order a Japanese ramen that gets delivered to our door, there is a physical impact there. And as custodians of the public realm, local government has a job to ensure that we're nurturing the best places for people. And the question we're asking is how and what is the role of tech and data in supporting that goal? Now, the Internet of Things, of course, is certainly an agenda that involves networks, it involves sensors and instrumentation and control, many different devices, and then, of course, hopefully doing something with that data. But in the public realm, we are sensing more. We are gathering more data. We are deploying more devices. And this can't be underestimated in terms of the concern that some have, but also we can't underestimate the huge opportunity that we have as well in doing so. As we look to scale and replicate the Internet of Things through our places to help them be better for people, there are some really important topics and issues and themes and rules and regulations, in fact, that we need to be conscious of. And our work on data leadership, those 5 vitals are absolutely fundamental. Having a purpose for collecting data in the first place, ensuring that we wrap around it, embed it, privacy and security, ensuring that we've got good frameworks or at least strong considerations and can have a conversation or respond to issues around ethics and around governance. Those are the starting points for data leadership. And indeed, with IoT in the public realm, we're seeing certainly some excellent advancements in some of those 5 issues, but no one's doing all 5 to the extent that we need to. So we need to ensure that all of our advancements and innovations are done with that strong lens of data leadership. On exploring the relationship, people, place, tech and data, it's a weird and wonderful journey that we've been going through. This is just, these are just some of the topics that we've been unpacking throughout 2021. We've still got another 1.5 years to go on the Future of Place project. It is not dramatic for me to say that the pace of innovation is eye-watering. And when the pace is very rapid and the excitement is high, the risk is that cities have this stuff done to them as opposed to nurturing and stewarding the best outcomes for people through place. We don't have answers yet. We will hopefully have guidance that comes up in our handbook in about 1.5 years' time, but we need to go on this journey to see what cities are doing now, how we're winning, how we're failing, and indeed hear from the rich ecosystem of public, private sector and academia on what's coming, what people are thinking, and what the impact is between digital data and people in place. We saw over the last 12 to 18 months, cities go on very important, interesting, rapid journeys, whether it was setting up analytics capability within an organisation like Brisbane City Council that put in place their City Analytics Office, which of course was sort of compressed and became more urgent. But this is really great to see cities understanding not just what they collect and sense more data, but then making sense of it and reporting, and then informing the little money they do have of ratepayers to try and make a difference in a time that is very challenging. Well, you know, we see record investments around the country in some places. The City of Darwin, one of our members, spending record amounts of money to digitally connect their CBD, very clearly grounded in the ideas of economic development and leveraging tourism. But of course, you know, certainly not without challenges along the way in terms of data and managing that. But from challenges come fantastic outcomes. And indeed, City of Darwin has done some leading work around AI and also privacy, which hopefully we'll be seeing shortly in the public realm for them to share with other councils. So excellent work going on. And I put some of these sort of leaders up on the screen, more so to sort of prompt who you need to reach out to and who you need to connect. You don't need to do this on your own. 5 years ago, we were struggling. We set up the Smart Cities Council and there were 40 cities that were doing it. And when I say doing it, I mean a plan, a strategy, some proof of concepts, a bit of budget. But we now have more than 100, more than 150. Whatever you're thinking you might want to do, I'll sort of bet on it that it's been done about 70 times prior across Australia and New Zealand. So building that peer network is fundamental. Moreton Bay Regional Council is another one, and I love kind of the way in which they go to some unsexy places at times with IoT. I spent a lot of time digging into council budgets, and I'm flabbergasted, if I can use that word, sometimes at where money is spent. It's spent wisely, but in some of the areas in asset maintenance where surely there's an opportunity to spend 30% less, 40% less. We've got local authorities out there spending $9 to $19 million a year just on filling potholes. You know, let's use tech and data and IoT to drive that down. Let's reduce that. Let's set goals, 20% less, 30% less. So we have some great innovators and leaders around the nation. You'll hear from Georgie in a moment. We did a virtual 2-hour tour of the Oakland Smart Precinct just the other week. It was fantastic in the role of IoT in really bringing that space to life. And what I really love about it is the data that Georgie and the team are now able to sort of, you know, look through, go through that internal transformation process of using that data to make better decisions and expenditure and amend policy. That's when we know the shift is happening and we're in the right direction. Last week, we did a virtual tour down on a greenfield site, a large community in Queanbeyan and Palorang. Their efforts underpinned by the Internet of Things, gathering data in real time, a great community app. I love how that we're spending time to test these opportunities in all different environments, regions. IoT is scale neutral, it's geography neutral. Data doesn't discriminate. It is certainly for everyone. I leave you with a final slide. This is a bit of sort of what's next. This is what we're trying to work out. We're building a future of place framework at the moment. This is a quick screenshot this morning of a lot of the engagement that's going on. We're doing a lot of discovery, unpacking these issues. It's evolving every day. We think place is the next frontier in terms of the platform for accelerating tech and data enabled communities for better. We look forward to hopefully hearing more from those that are on the line and sharing their great stories. We'll certainly do the same. We share all of our information back. Our goal, of course, is to grow the pie and accelerate better outcomes for people, planet, and also prosperity. Chris, with that, I'll stop. Thank you so much for your time.
Big hand for Adam. Thank you very much, Adam.